And even good morning from whichever corner of the world you are listening from. I'm Matt Blackburn and you are listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of the first fixture in Group B as host Canada welcome Bosnia and Herzegovina to Toronto. Settle in, make sure you are watching the games through your local broadcaster as we bring you all the scintillating action straight to your ears. And what is going to be a huge opening night for the hosts. This incredible 45,000-seater stadium expanded on the north and south sides by 15,000 in preparation for the competition is almost poised and ready to go. The smaller stand over to the left-hand side, leaving room to spot the imposing CN Tower, which was the world's tallest building for 32 years. And as it stands over the horizon, 11 Canadians stand on the pitch, ready to make themselves giants this evening. What a start to the tournament we've already had. 3 red cards kicked us off in the game between Mexico and South Africa, meaning the tournament is just 1 red card short of the 4 issued in the whole of Qatar 2022. That was followed by a come-from-behind victory by South Korea, who looked really good against Czechia. But this is the night that Canada have been waiting for. Since it was announced in 2018, they're on a home global tournament. It's a first Group B test and a chance to turn national expectation into some noise, energy and a bit of momentum as well. Only one host nation has ever lost its opening match, and that was Qatar in 2022, beaten 2-0 by Ecuador before coming the first host nation to lose all 3 group games. Canada won't want to join that part of history. They've lost every game they've played in this competition in the 2 iterations they have been a part of previously. Instead, they will want to join the great home soil stories, including the latest of the 6 sides to win it, France, back in 1998. Now that might be a little bit of a push for this Canadian side, but the hosts come into this with real belief under Jesse Marsch. Since their semi-final defeat to Mexico in the Nations League in March 2025, they've lost just once in 17 games. Bosnia and Herzegovina, well, they arrive with a very different kind of story, but one every bit as compelling. They are surprise qualifiers, and when Barbares took over in 2024, this did not look like a straightforward road. Before this campaign, Bosnia had managed just 4 wins across their previous 19 matches over 2 qualification cycles, but through the chaos, the emotion and at times irrational intensity, they found a way through. Wales beaten, Italy beaten, 2 dramatic playoff games, and with it Bosnia reached the main event for the second time in their history, sparking celebrations in Sarajevo with more than 100,000 people taking to the streets. Marsch has been in charge since 2024 and has captured Canadian hearts by taking the team to semi-finals at major international tournaments, building a side around what has been a consistent and persistent 4-4-2, pressing from the front, pace out wide, in a defensive unit that's kept 10 clean sheets in the last 15 games. And for Canada, well, they are without Alphonso Davies, who couldn't quite get fit enough for the opening day. So Marsch has had to look elsewhere in his squad to replace that missing quality. But he's a creature of habit and, as expected, starts with that 4-4-2 formation and names his first 11 of the tournament to make history, with Crepau getting the nod ahead of Inter Miami goalkeeper St. Clair in the net. And what a moment it is for Crepau as well. Missed out in the 2022 competition following a leg break in the MLS Cup final, making what was a winning save. A back 4 of Johnson, De Fugro, who at one stage had more international team appearances than club, Cornelius and Laie, the final 2 at the back. A midfield 4 consistent as Buchanan, Eusakau, who is the heartbeat of Jesse Marsch's side, Kone and Miller, with Canada top scorer Jonathan David with 13 goals to his name since Jesse Marsch came in, partnered with Nigerian-born Oluwase up front. Barbares is a story in himself for Bosnia, a former national team captain who has been waiting in the wings for his chance at the job. He didn't take another football role in the meantime, instead playing poker and enjoying retirement before the call finally came. And when it did, he made an immediate impact. He gave 16 debuts to players in his first year and building a side around aggressive defending, direct football and quick transitions. It took a while for them to really get going on the pitch, but Bosnia won 7 and drew 2 and lost just once in their qualifying group. This is not a side that is here just to admire the stage. They are here to attack it. And Barbares wants a positive start and an early one as well, as he also names his side in a 4-4-2 formation with Vasily in goal, whose father was in the Croatian side back in the 98 and 2002 competitions. Kolasinac, Muharmovic, Katic and Dedic make up the back line. Memic, Tahirovic, Basic and Bajrek Tavic, who was raised in Wisconsin in the USA, with Demirovic and Lukic, the front two, who surprisingly start ahead of a 148 appearance frontman Dzeko, who could only find the bench for the pre-tournament friendly games that Bosnia did play, so maybe they are looking for the long run, but he's certainly chasing down more goals and aiming for his 150th appearance during this competition. The referee is Argentinian Facundo Tello, a referee of the last two tournaments, and once gave 10 red cards in the 2022 Argentinian Cup final. He's assisted by fellow compatriots on the lines, Juan Pablo Berletti and Gabriel Shade. Fourth official is Saudi Khalid Al Turais, and VAR is Argentinian Herman Masrelango. And we are moments away from kick-off. Dzeko waiting on the bench and hopefully waiting for his chance to come on, but normally if a player of his calibre has to come on, it's not going right for the side that is attacking. Canada, well, they're going to try and come out of the blocks here, absolutely firing. There is no margin for error. There is no forgiveness in this competition. Bosnia got here the hardest way possible through those two playoff games. Canada have been waiting for this day since it was announced that they were host back in 2018. The huddles going on in the pitch for both sides, the nerves jangling on the pitch and also in the stands of what a beautiful stadium it is here in Toronto. The two stands on the north and south side have been built up to add an extra fair few 15,000 to the capacity here. Not quite a sellout because of resellers who have had to lower the prices over the last 24 hours or so due to tickets not being sold, which is a story of the competition, how it has been handled in the weeks and months leading up to it. But for now, the football will do the talking, and the host Canada get us underway. They're in their all-red strip, going from right to left, attacking what is a wall of red away to our left-hand side. Bosnia, as you will have surmised, are going from left to right in this first half in their all-white strip as well. When Canada inside the opening 30 seconds have an opportunity for an attacking throw-in down this left-hand channel. It's going to be whipped in by Liam Miller, who's once played for Charlton. He's also been working as an electrician on Game of Thrones and other TV shows like Peaky Blinders as well, and it's a good ball in, but it's dealt with by Bosnia and only just out towards this near side as it trickles out for the first corner kick of the evening for Canada. The sun's still beating down here. It's 26 degrees. The Canadians will be hoping that it continues to heat up on the pitch as well as the Argentinian referee makes his way over. They just have a brief chat with the gaggle of players inside the 6-yard box. There's 4 Canadians inside that 6-yard box. The corner comes in low towards the near side. It's not quite dealt with on this occasion by Bosnia, just trying to scramble the ball away, and on the second attempt clear it towards the halfway line, which is met by Maxime Crepal in the goal. As we said, what a moment it is for the Orlando City goalkeeper. He missed the 2022 after a late break in that MLS Cup final. Getting his first touch as the ball goes across towards the left-hand side as Bosnia will win a free kick inside Canadian territory, a couple of yards off the far touchline, so inside the opening 2 minutes. Both sides just trying to find themselves in behind the back lines, but the defensive units of what is a very traditional 4-4-2 from both of these two coaches. It's going to be a tactical affair this evening, but it's certainly going to be an exciting one as well. We had the pre-game build-up as all three host nations are having their own opening ceremonies. Michael Bublé is the singer here, not quite the same as Shakira. He's come out just before Christmas as the long ball comes from the free kick towards the far side of the box. It's cushioned down towards the edge of the area, and the shot that came in from Memic couldn't quite keep it down, but it was a good opportunity for Bosnia. It was a lovely whip ball from the left-hand side towards the far right-hand side of the box, knocked down into the edge of the 6-yard box. Canada could only push it towards the edge of the penalty area, and there was Memic, who was coming onto it on the run, but just couldn't quite keep his shot down. and over the top of the bar, which the power would have been delighted to see. Canada just about scrambling to win the ball back. 10 yards off the edge of their own penalty area, trying to switch it across towards the right-hand side, but dealt with comfortably by Dedic, who just knocks it down to his right-hand side to Muherovic, who takes no real chances there. The Sassuolo centre-half speaks 5 languages himself. He's generally calm on the ball, but on that occasion just tries to get it away. Canada now come down the right-hand side instead, as the whip cross towards the edge of the area isn't the best, as it's cleared out by Bajaric Tadovic. Now for a thrown over on the far side. 3.5 minutes then gone. Canada 0, Bosnia and Herzegovina 0. Canada currently ranked 30th in the world rankings. They've dropped down from their best of 26th, which was the back end of last year, but that is because they haven't had to play any qualification games, but it's certainly better than where they were back in 2014, as like a foul went in on the Bosnian man over on the far side of the pitch. Lukic just got in behind the Canadian back line, took a slight touch on his ankles, but the referee waves it away as it goes out for a goal kick, and just a little push that came in the back from there, Fougarol. The long ball comes from the goal kick and it's straight out of play, and Essimar showing that he's still got a fine touch inside the dugout, just lays that one down towards the near side, but the ball still is on the pitch and is brought back in, but a free kick goes Bosnia's way. A couple of free kicks inside the opening 5 minutes of this contest. Bosnia just getting themselves between man and ball, putting a bit of pressure on this Canadian back line. They certainly know how good Canada have been defensively. 10 clean sheets in the last 15 games. Bosnia don't carry plenty of momentum from their playoff campaign. The 2 warm-up games for Bosnia both ended in draws against North Macedonia and Panama, as the free kick comes in from this near side, but it's met over on the far side of the box by Lukic, but he couldn't do more than just make contact on that Basic cross. And Bosnia themselves sit 64th in the world, their best coming 13 years ago when they qualified for Brazil in 2014, when he's 13th in the world rankings. Their worst was just after the separation of Yugoslavia. A couple of years after, in 1996, they found themselves 173rd. Bosnia have been just a nation since the split of Yugoslavia back in 1992. Yugoslavia themselves, they were a force at 1.4 quarter-finals, 2 semi-finals as well in this competition over the years. 2 semi-finals coming in the first iteration back in Uruguay, 1930 and 1962. Well, Bosnia, as their own nation, in just their second tournament appearances, they'll have another thrown on this near side as Bajaric Tadovic just leaves the ball. The referees have plenty of new powers for this World Cup. These competitions tend to bring out a couple of rule changes. Colina, who's in charge of world referees, is trying to change how time wasting goes on in this version of the competition. 4 years ago they were just adding every minute to the game, where they averaged about 24 minutes added on in the group stages because of various time wasting that goes on. Well, in this tournament it's a 5-second countdown that the referees can introduce if they feel a side is delaying. Substitutes must leave the pitch as well inside 10 seconds. Otherwise, the player coming on will have to wait a further 60 seconds. There's also new rules around physios coming on, a 1 minute gap. Players can also be sent off for covering their mouths, which is certainly something that needs to go out of the game. They can also be sent off now for leaving the field in protest after the African tournament at the start of this year, back in the last year, which was pure controversy in the final. New rules have been brought in. VAR can also come in and check corners, second yellow cards, attacking fouls before a ball's come into play, and mistaken identity. So lots for referees and VAR to consider, and the Argentinians in charge of this contest will certainly be hoping that they don't have too much controversy. Canada on the ball, just trying to send it down the right-hand channel, and it's almost kept in on the far side. In fact, it is kept in ever so well by Buchanan. It looked like he was just outstretching, but on this occasion, the linesman's flag has gone up after excellent work by Kolasinac on that left-hand side of the defence. Tends to play. And on the right, the captain for Bosnia. He shuffled into that left-back role. This game has the armband with no Dzeko on the pitch. A long throw just goes down the line, and Bosnia will just make their way up that left-hand channel of the Canadian. Half over on the far side of the pitch as the referee just brings it back towards the halfway line. Then 9 minutes gone in this game, nothing really to shout about. The best opportunity coming for Memic, just coming onto the ball on the full after a knockdown towards the edge of the area for Bosnia, but nothing really for Canada apart from that opening 30-second spell. They won themselves a corner as they have the ball again inside their own half, breaking into the Bosnia half on this near left-hand side. A nice little pass by Miller, just trying to find the run of Laye, who just continued down the left-hand side, but it couldn't quite find the pass and goes out for a throw. Laye will come back himself to take this, the man who plays at this ground on a week-by-week basis for Toronto. He's an all-edge Toronto fullback. He thrives in hostile games. He wins fouls. He put in good low crosses as well. I'm not too sure many Canadians will disagree that he was one of the best players for the national team in 2025. There's another throws one down this near left-hand side. Miller winds up the long throw. This time it is dealt with by Bosnia and cleared out towards the halfway line. And got off that long throw that caused them a little bit of trouble inside the opening 60 seconds on this occasion. Managing to deal with it ever so well, but a beautiful ball by Crepau in towards Miller, who just chests it down. Lays it down to his right-hand side in towards Eustachiou. Continues his run forward. I've been practicing that name all afternoon, I will tell you. I got it nailed on, and then as soon as the game starts, you start to question your own pronunciation. And who would have thought in the game between Canada and Bosnia it would be a Canadian player that stumps you more than anything else, and a loose pass is picked up by Bosnia on the left-hand side, driving into the Canada half, and then the tackle comes in and clears out the Bosnian. And it's Johnson who will be the first man into the referee's book. They're protesting a little bit more, all the Bosnians, with Kolasinac asking for a potential red from the referee, but I think he'll be lucky if there is an overturning there. He's still protesting, the Bosnian referee. Sorry, the Bosnian player to the Argentinian referee, who comes over, but it was poor in the middle from Oluwase. Just gives the ball away in towards Memic, who was just charging down that left-hand side. He just knocked the ball in front of him, had plenty of space, and Johnson just comes across the Celtic fullback and just takes him out. He's a football-mad leader. He wakes up in R4 here in British Columbia for Premier League games. He's loved at Celtic for his tackles and his attitude, but I'm not too sure if the Canadian fans will be too happy with that challenge or not. He almost came off his feet, and that really is a lapse in concentration. He knew exactly what he was doing. He had to stop the Bosnian attack some way. If anything, you could say he's taken one for the team. But he was probably half a stud or so off the ground from that potentially being worse, as Memic is back to his feet, and the free kick can now be taken in towards the penalty spot, and it's aimed at Lukic once again, but couldn't quite get more onto the balls. It trickles in towards Crepau's hands down the middle of the goal, and it's meat and drink for a goalkeeper of his calibre. Got the nod ahead of Sinclair, who has been starting far more games over recent months, including in the major tournaments that Canada have been over the last 12 to 18 months or so, but Rapau getting the nod ahead of St Clair for this one. They both played 45 minutes in their final warm-up game before the start of this competition. They've just gone 18 minutes into this game. It's 5:15 local time here. The third game of this 104-game competition. Plenty more games coming up. The USA and Paraguay. Only 4 hours after this game finishes in California. The final of the 3 hosts, and the one that has been making the most noise before this competition started. Remember that you can watch the game on your local network broadcasters, wherever you are in the world. Whether it is day, morning or night, or this morning and day are the same thing as Bosnia. Why get the pass over on the far side and play it out for a throw in halfway inside their own half. Canada take it quickly, try and stretch themselves down the right hand side as the cross comes in, and it's played out for a corner kick by Katic. Just did enough to get himself back under pressure. Bosnia found themselves in the makers of their own downfall for a moment or so. Lazy to get themselves back. Canada quick to take the throw down that right hand channel, and it was almost a beautiful ball back into the middle, looking for the run of Kone. Jonathan David was there just behind him as well. The man who's got 13 goals to his name since Jesse Marsh took over. As Canada have the corner from the far side. It's taken short down the byline towards the edge of the area. Play back towards the corner taker and shipped in towards the box. Couldn't quite be headed in the right direction by Oluwasai. Bosnia able to just about clear the lines, and in doing so play it off the referee, who will just stop the ball and the game as he brings it back and holds his hand up from the clearance. And they had to find something under Jesse Marsh did this side. Alphonso Davies is not in the starting 11 for this one. It was something that was expected over the last couple of weeks or so. The bigger decision was who played ahead of him, but he has only played in 12 of the 30 games that Marsh has taken charge of. So Canada have to find a way to grow without their superstar, the Bayern Munich midfielder. Scored Canada's first finals goal in 2022. There's 2 goals they got in that competition, the only 2 they've got in their 2 campaigns they have been involved in. Lost all 6 games that they've played in, including 1-0 in their opening games in both of those tournaments. 1-0 to France in 1986 and 1-0 to Belgium in 2022. They have the ball 5 yards inside the Bosnia half towards the far side of the pitch. Brought back in towards the centre circle, linking in with Kone. Finds Miller. And Ustad on this left-hand side. Continues the ball in towards Miller once more. Got a little bit of space to try and attack into. He's got one man to try and beat in, Bajralak Tedovic, and he just about gets ahead of him and whips the ball towards the far side of the box, but in hope more than an expectation with that cross. But it's picked up once again by Johnson, who made the foul moments ago, but he's got ball in, and then the first shot from the edge of the area from Canada straight in towards Vasily in the goal. It was Jonathan David who came on to the ball, but it was Johnston, the man who put a lovely ball in towards the box, not quite dealt with by Dedic. On the right hand side of the penalty area, and it fell kindly back in towards Jonathan David, who normally with that trusty left boot will tuck it away into the bottom corner, but on that occasion straight at Vasily, who got down ever so well after being relatively quiet inside the goal for the opening 17 minutes. Canada have a free kick just inside their own half, inside the centre circle, so an opportunity for both sides early on. The better they're really coming for Canada. He tends to do better on the ball there. David and Jesse Marsh on this near side, going apoplectic that didn't nestle in the back of the net. The Canadians were waiting in expectation as a long ball comes to Miller, but just over his head down this near left-hand channel as Dedic will make his way across to take a throw in deep inside Bosnian territory. But the one thing that these two sides are a little bit more grateful for is that Group B gives both teams a real opportunity, but no easy route. Canada are the co-hosts here. Bosnia came through European playoffs. Qatar arrived with recent host nation experience, and Switzerland bring that tournament know-how and consistency. And with 3 teams potentially going through, 8 of 12 third place finishers in the groups will go through to the next round, so the risk to sides like Germany a few years ago going out to South Korea at the group stage is far more less likely. As down the right hand side, Memic just tries to stretch his legs, but it's good defensive work on this near left hand side once again, this time by Cornelius, who just gets himself across and plays off the Bosnian man. Still in the possession for Canada, trying to stretch the legs down the left hand side, but the pass in towards Oluwaseyi not quite found him. It has now found its way though in towards Laia, trying to drive towards the left corner of the penalty area, but just trying to do too much on his own. Loses out to the ball, and then a free kick is won by Bajrak Terevic. Zeustat Keo coming across, the Canadian captain, just taking his man out and once again just stopping that Bosnian counter-attack, which they will try time and time again throughout this competition. They're based down in Salt Lake City in the USA. Bosnia. Canada, they're over on the west coast in Vancouver. But here in Toronto, beautiful city. It links up the Niagara Falls alongside Boston on the other side of the divide between the two host nations. It's a global melting pot. This is this city. Over 250 ethnicities, 170 languages represented in the city. Approximately half of the population has been born outside of Canada. Like many major cities, it tends to be a very, very welcoming place, but it's one thing they won't want to be this evening is welcoming to Bosnia. There's a good ball down the right hand side, is once again played in towards the feet of Bajrak Terevic, who goes down under the challenge and will win himself a free kick. This time it was Laia who just cut across his man, couldn't quite step in between man and ball. In fact, he's gone out for corner kick instead, and it's whipped in from the corner kick towards the near side, and it's found the back of the net, and Bosnia have the lead. The Dragons breathe fire on opening night. They silence the city. They stun the stage here in Toronto. And the side who were expected to try and make up the numbers this afternoon have taken a lead inside the opening half of this contest. It's Canada 0, Bosnia 1. And it's a beautiful ball from the corner. It looked like it was a foul initially. The referee and the assistant decided against it, that it was going to be a corner kick, that Laia won the ball. And what a difference that's made to those in white. A beautiful ball towards the near post, flicked on by Lukic, and then it's just tucked away a yard out. And Bosnia lead by a goal to 0. And it's Jovo Lukic, the man who tucks it home for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Canada are stunned on home soil. They missed a good opportunity moments before with Jonathan David, the Juventus man, but punished at the other end by Jovo Lukic. He exploded after a poor first Romanian spell to finish as Romania's top scorer and force his way into Barbarez's plans. And what a season he's had, and what a difference he's making for this Bosnian side, leading by a goal to 0, and they almost find themselves in behind the Canadian back line once again. De Fugaro managing to win himself a free kick, with Demirovic just breathing down his neck. And the Dragons breathing a momentary bit of fire before they have their hydration break. 3 minutes for both of these two sides to take in the opening half of the first half of their competition campaigns, and it's Bosnia who lead. Jesse Marsh, who is an acolyte of the Ranjik footballing school. He provided Canada with a clear tactical identity since taking charge in May 2024. He draws plenty of experience from his previous experience with clubs that are owned by the same company in New York, Salzburg and in Leipzig. But under Jesse Marsh, Canada have been inspired by that 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2 at almost every possible opportunity. Their pressing movements typically trigger opponents, cycle the ball laterally, and when they win possession, they can transition immediately to lightning quick counter-attacks. But on this occasion, and in this game, they're the side that is being expected to have the attacking possession against Bosnia, with Bosnia doing exactly what a traditional Jesse Marsh side can do, the former Leeds United manager. But at this glorious ground, it is Bosnia who have the lead inside the first half. Top two go through, best of three also progress. Canada come up against Qatar on the 18th of June in Vancouver, where they are based. Bosnia come up against Switzerland on the same day in Los Angeles. Before then, both of the sides will go into their final group game, Canada against Switzerland and Bosnia against Qatar on the 24th of June. Wherever you are, it may be the 24th. It could well be taking place on the 25th, with it being split across the many time zones that Canada and America do have. It does mean that some of the games take place as late as 5 a.m. back home for me in England. So those friends and family watching it from home will certainly be getting up, and if you do end up watching every game of this competition, well, fair play to you. I enjoyed the opening two games of the tournament. There's 104 games for your entertainment in this competition, with the expanded tournament going to 48 from 32, which has plenty of games. And I did see a few people before the tournament started saying they didn't really want some of the lesser known sides in the competition, but that's exactly what this tournament means and matters, as we are back underway from the hydration break, with Canada quickly trying to assert themselves, working it down the left hand side, and just taken out off the ball is Lajer, and the referee happy with the challenge that came in from Bajlik Terovic, and Bosnia will win the throw in. Jesse Marsh trying to protest. Lajer did cut across his man, but the referee has got that decision absolutely spot on. He lost his own footing, hoping that he might have a bit of connection with the Bosnian wide man. This ground will host 6 games in Toronto, starting with this fixture. They tend to host Toronto FC and Toronto Argonauts in the MLS and in the CFL. They've transformed the area, they've transformed the ground. Some of the stands on the north and south sides are so high with that scaffolding, as Canada win a free kick over on the far side. Try and take it quickly, but the Argentinian referee brings it back. He wasn't quite ready himself, and just tried to be a little bit sly there, but they'll come back and have a second opportunity to put the ball into the box, and it's a good opportunity for them to test this Bosnian defence. Is whipped in towards the near side, flicked on towards the edge of the area, not quite cleared by Bosnia. Back out towards Miller, slips it down the right hand side, looks like just about kept on side there, Davis, but David just couldn't quite find the cross back in. Cleared only as far out towards Johnson. Bit of head tennis, sends it back in towards the area, and then just cleared out by Bosnia away to the far side of the pitch, and it'll be a throw in level with the edge of the Bosnian penalty area, but the referee will come off. We'll just come over and just halt the play for a moment. as Muhermovic is just holding on to his stomach and asking the referee to just halt the play. But he is back to his feet and he's ready to get back underway with the game again. No physio being brought on for him. It certainly will have plenty of effects that minute that players will have to go off if the physio does come on, as Canada once again come down the right hand side trying to find a way back into it as Buchanan gets himself behind the back line. He's going to win a corner kick as well, just playing it in off Kolasinac, who stayed with him. But another corner kick from Canada inside this first half, their third of the evening. Bosnia had just one, and theirs has found a goal. Can Canada find a reply? Played in towards Miller on the edge of the area, taken down, flicked in towards David, can't quite get his cross back across the box once more, but he is going to win a free kick 2 yards off the left hand side of the penalty area. It was Muhermovic who came charging out of the penalty area, just trying to put a little bit of pressure on David, but he had both hands just straight into the middle of the forwards back. The armband has switched between the Bosnian players. Kolasinac along with the captain. Muhermovic is the Bosnian captain. 27 minutes gone into this game. 2 in the wall. 5 or 6 yards off the byline. Played centrally towards the edge of the penalty area, but then the block shot comes in and out it goes back towards Miller on this left-hand side. Tries to turn and wiggle his way free. Got a little bit of support on the near side from the free kick taker, Eustakio. Back in again towards Johnson. Tries to just whip a ball towards the far side of the area once more, but handled as it has been throughout this opening half by Bosnia routinely. Breaking down the left-hand side is Tahirovic, just taken out off the ball in the middle of the park by Kone. The referee happy with the challenge as Canada come inside the Bosnian half. It's been an interesting opening third to this contest. Canada have certainly been the better side. They've found themselves probing the flanks as they come again with Miller, but he can't quite find the pass back in towards Kone. And out come Bosnia with the ball once more, just trying to control the tempo themselves, and they'll work their way up this near touchline as Demirovic just plays it off the retreating Cornelius, who had made his way up for the free kick moments before. And Bosnia with the throw in right on the halfway line, but it is Canada who've had 60% of the possession inside the opening half an hour. We're bringing you this game from this radio commentary. You can also watch the games. Make sure you are watching via your local network providers, as we will bring you the excellent commentary for the final 2/3 of this game. 14 minutes to go before half-time. Bosnia leading through that Lukic header from a lovely corner kick taken down this near right-hand flank as Bosnia are attacking, but it's Canada who win the throw-in down the left-hand channel again. Level with the edge of the Bosnia penalty area. Miller plays it in towards the middle. Eustakio comes back in towards Miller, tries to drive past two, but just runs into traffic and can't quite keep hold of the ball. Comes back out towards David, moves himself in towards a bit of space. Play back in towards the area, laid down in towards Oluwaseyi. He can't quite get it back across. It was a Sunday League sort of effort to try and get his foot around it by Oluwaseyi. He lacked confidence on it. He's only got 2 goals in his 24 appearances for the national team. And he just couldn't quite find the pass, but he's found himself inside the box once more, and on this occasion sends it over the top of the bar. It's high, it's wide, and it's not very handsome from the Villarreal front man. He's a late bloomer. Tanny time is what it's known. He's got a huge engine. He presses as hard as he attacks. He has said that Spain has made him smarter, and you can see that in the positions he has just made over the last 60 seconds or so. But on both occasions, finding himself a little bit of space. The first one just trying to get the ball back through that corridor of uncertainty to find a man in red, but couldn't quite find the cross or make a good enough connection on it. And then on the second time, coming over the top, a lovely chest down and turn into the gap. Brought it then onto his left-hand side, a little bit more confident on his left. He just couldn't quite keep his shot down as he just leant back a little bit It's Canada trying to scramble for the ball deep inside the Bosnia half, but it's cleared out and away by Memic, but straight into the Canadian fans in the stand on the far side of the pitch here. It's Bosnia, though, that still lead by a goal to nil. 33 minutes gone in this game, and Krepau, who we mentioned earlier, who missed the 2022 tournament for breaking his leg with a game-saving MLS Cup final stop. Did say before the game that keepers can't cut corners. In the irony of a corner undoing the home side inside this first half, but they've won a corner themselves over on the far side of the pitch. They just slowly made their way up the line, and now the big centre halves make their way in towards the box. It's played towards the penalty spot, knocked down towards the edge of the box once more, but it was Vajgrak Tedovic who just clears his line into Memic, who has a bit of space on the left-hand side, but Lahir comes racing across to snuff out the danger and just put it into the stand off the Bosnian. The Bosnian wide man, and now for a throw into the home side. It's going exactly as planned for Bosnia. Tall, imposing figures that are the players that come from Balkan sides. Croatia, Serbia, Kosovo, Bosnia, and Montenegro, all housing absolute giants of players. The average height in those countries is around about 6'2". It certainly feels like it when you do visit those absolutely beautiful countries, all right on the coast. Bosnia itself slowly becoming a more touristy part of the world. Croatia had that boost following Game of Thrones and the incredible scenery that was used in that competition, as Miller's dad certainly knows about those areas as he works on the sets of Game of Thrones and Peaky Blinders as an electrician. As Ryan Reynolds has just been shown on the big screen here. 10 minutes to go before half time. It doesn't have to be Hollywood for Bosnia, it just has to be straight to video. Yeah, the job done and get out the 3 points and everything intact in this first game. Both of these two sides' competitions. Canada lost their opening games in the previous two iterations they've been involved in, 1-0. And that's the scoreline they're losing here. Miller just trying to find a pass a little bit more central. Good little takedown by Kone under pressure from three Bosnian defenders. His next touch though is a little bit too heavy and invites a challenge coming in from Zahidovic, who just about gets hold of the ball and will win a throw-in. Jonathan David couldn't quite keep it in. That breakthrough goal that came from Lukic, the difference maker inside this first half. There's plenty of exciting games to come in this competition over the next few days or so. We're all very excited for the competition to become a 4-game day for the remainder of the group stages after the 2 games today. USA and Paraguay kicking off 4 hours after this game does finish, but once that is over, it then starts to get very, very exciting. Qatar, Switzerland, Brazil, Morocco, followed by Haiti, Scotland and Australia against Turkey, as Miller once again charging down the left-hand side, and he's looked excellent on the ball and off it as well, and he's won another corner kick. Bosnia making the right decisions defensively, but they can't quite keep Canada from attacking down the flanks. That's where they're having their best run at this Bosnian defence. And Eustakio with the corner kick from this near side, whipped in towards the edge of the box, 6-yard boxes, then knocked back down by Jonathan Davis, but he couldn't quite get the return back across, but it does come off a Bosnian once again, and Kolasinac can't do much apart from just put it out of play, and Canada will have another corner kick from the far side as a bit of a protest came in from David for a moment on a potential handball inside the box on Kolasinac. But on second viewing, he has got his arms out of the way, and it will be a corner kick from the far side of the pitch. The referee happy that there was no handball. 7 minutes to go before half-time. Eustachio with the corner. An outswinger towards the edge of the 6-yard box once again, this time looking for the head of Oluwasai. Can't quite find him, and Bosnia clear. And Canada will just retreat back into their own half and all the way back towards Maxime Crepau in his goal away to the right-hand side. Bosnia sitting a little bit further back as this first half starts to peter out towards half-time. Canada with double the amount of passes that Bosnia have had, but we could run through the stats in Canada's favour. The only one that really matters is the one on that score sheet. But here come Canada once again, racing down the left-hand side and winning another corner kick is Buchanan. Just played it off Memic, who stayed with him all the way down that right-hand channel. It was a lovely ball just to find Buchanan into a little bit of space. Thought for a moment like he was going to try and fade and come back onto his left to put a cross in. Continued to drive towards the byline. But Memic sticking with him like glue and getting the final touches. Eustachio once again with the corner. Once again cleared out by Bosnia. Those outward swinging corners not causing enough trouble on this Bosnian defence inside the opening 40 minutes of this game. Back out towards Kone. Deflected off of Bosnia, and it's just going to work its way out for another corner kick over on the far side of the pitch. And it's the 7th of this first half for the host. And it's their 4th in the last 4 minutes as well. Eustachio makes his way over the big centre half to Cornelius, and De Fugaro make their way into the box. This time they decide to come short in towards Buchanan. Back out to Eustachio. In towards Koenig. Tries to feed it in towards Deira. Can't quite find it. Cleared back out towards the edge of the area. Knocked down inside the box. And then just hacked away higher than Bob Marley, but not very far from by the Bosnian defence. Laia just puts it high in towards the edge of the area, and it just couldn't quite be brought down by Jonathan David. It was a really difficult attempt from the Juve front man, just looking over the top of his left shoulder, trying to bring it down on his right boot, but just didn't find that sweet connection on it. And it goes through in towards Nikolai Vashili, the St. Pauli goalkeeper, the long-term number one whose father was in the Croatian squad in both 98 and 02. And Nikolai found his own route through loan to St. Pauli to continue his position as the number one in the goal for Bosnia and Herzegovina. Canada not sure about who their number one goalkeeper is, and there might be some questions raised from the corner kick. It was played in towards the near post, and then just a simple flick on, tucked away. The goalkeeper barely able to come off his line. And the momentum still with Canada. They have the possession, they're controlling the tempo, they're working it from left to right, just trying to probe and find a little bit of space. But they just keep finding themselves getting caught in difficult positions. Well, Bosnia, with that solid defence, moving into 4-3-3 on the defensive, just to try and press a little bit more against that back four of Canada as they clear the lines again. Bosnia with a free kick goes Canada's way, halfway inside their own half, and Memic once again the man at the end of the raff of the referee's whistle. Look at the two coaches 3 minutes before half-time. Barbares will certainly be the happier. The Bosnian fans away to the left-hand side, making a hell of a noise. The Canadian fans still trying to get behind their team, but it's more apprehension as the game goes on than anything else. Can Canada find a way back into this contest? They've got 45 minutes to do so in the second half. They've got 2.5 minutes plus any time to be added on inside this first half as well, as it's Koenig on the ball with an excellent tackle. Just comes in by Lukic, just put it out of play for a throw in. Miller gains 10 yards from where the ball went out and sends the long throw down the left-hand channel. He's then knocked back towards the halfway line by Bosnia and then sent back in towards their territory, and it's high from Herzegovina, but it's not very far once again from him. Trying to bring it down on this near side is Bajrek. Lovely ball and a sweeping pass towards the left-hand side. Gets Memic into play, finds Demirovic again. He's got one man in front of him, and Johnson, who's got to be careful after going into the book early on, but he does ever so well over on the far side of the pitch against Memic. And they're having a real battle down that left-hand side, as the Canadian fans look on, being silenced as the game goes on, but those in blue and white in the stands are enjoying the opening 45 minutes. The sun slowly disappearing, the pitch no longer bathing in the glorious heat, and a volley comes in from the edge of the box from the Bosnian. It was ambitious, but it wasn't very brilliant from Tahirovic, who just got hold of it on the volley. 5 yards off the left corner of the penalty box. And it quite comfortably goes out of play. But a high press once again from Bosnia, putting Canada under pressure, but they'll win a free kick, Canada. It's Cornelius just taken out as he sends a pass down the left-hand side towards Laia. And the Argentinian referee will take his time to make a decision, but on this occasion will issue the first yellow card of the evening to a Bosnian man. It was a late challenge that came in from Demirovic. He just got there half a second too late. Cornelius doing ever so well to get it out of his feet and shuffling it towards this near left touchline. But Ermedin Demirovic going into the book, the Stuttgart front man. He does like to keep his promises. He said that he'd buy Stuttgart fans beer if Bosnia qualified. And after they did, he served it all himself, despite not actually drinking alcohol himself, catering to the Germans and the many, many steins that they love to drink. Wonderful place to visit is Germany, and so is Toronto, and it's also a wonderful ball down the right-hand side for Rekterovic to try and chase down. Mike Myers also being shown on the big screen here with 4 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Bosnia still lead by a goal to nil, that solitary goal. Anything can happen in this competition. First time I think I've seen Mike Myers in many, many years. As a kid, Austin Powers was certainly one of my favourite films, just for his pure slapstick sort of nature on James Bond, which is also some of my favourite films as well. Well, hasn't quite grown with the times, as the ball cleared towards the far right hand side by Canada, and then they'll win a free kick as well, and the referee now in the mood for bookings, and Lukic will join his strike partner Demirovic in the referee's book, as he just came in with a high boot on Buchanan, who tried to just take the ball down and send it down the right hand line, but Lukic taking him out for good measure. Canada tried to get on with it quickly. De Fougaron, 10 yards inside his own half, works it to the left hand side towards his centre half partner of Cornelius. The Rangers centre half avoids going to the Celtic right back and instead looks down the left hand channel, but it's picked up by the Bosnian man instead in Basic, who's been rather quiet in the middle of the park, just doing his job, as you would expect. Those midfielders that just do that dirty work, they do the unseen. And Basic is certainly one of those players, the Astana man. Plays over in Kazakhstan, and old-fashioned in the best way. And rhythm, positioning, tactical reliability. Played over in Russia and now in Kazakhstan as well. Halfway through the 4 minutes that have been added on. The momentum just slowing down as this game starts to wind down towards the halfway point. But here come Canada once again, and it's just a poor touch by Buchanan. Just invites the tackle from the Bosnian man, and it's gone out for it. Throwing deep inside Bosnian territory We were just holding our breath to see it was going to be another corner kick or not to Canada, but just bounces off the corner flag and out for a throw-in where the linesman is down that far right-hand channel. As the long throw comes in again from Miller. Headed back towards the throw-in taken. Looks like it almost flicked on by Oluwayesi, back out towards Miller, who just comes across it, puts his foot through the ball. Johnson on that occasion and goes out again off Kolasinac and out for the 9th corner kick of the evening for the home side. Those in red trying to get behind their boys in red on the pitch with 45 seconds to go before half-time. Can they find a leveller when it matters inside this first half? It's a better corner kick that came from the far side onto the head of Cornelius, who just couldn't quite keep it down. He peeled off his man, made an excellent run from the edge of the box, and this time Starkayo's corner kick landed exactly where it needed to be. Cornelius getting ahead of his opposite number in Basic, but just couldn't quite keep it down. A lovely cushion chest down inside the centre circle in towards Bajrek Tenovic. Plays it in towards his own half as it's looked long, but there will be the half-time whistle from the Argentinian referee. It's been all pressure, all momentum from Canada, but it's Bosnia and Herzegovina who lead. Canada and Bosnia both had chances early on. The best for Canada coming from Jonathan David from the edge of the area, but punished at the other end after a beautiful corner kick, whipped in towards the near post, flicked on, and then there was Jovo Lukic to just knock it in from a yard out to give Bosnia the lead against the run of play. Canada have continued to attack. They've had 9 corner kicks in this first half. They've had double the amount of passes, and they've had a fair few more shots as well. But it is those in white who lead at half-time here in Toronto. It's Canada 0, Bosnia 1. Welcome back all to the second half here in Toronto. You're listening to an independent studio-based off-tube commentary of the first fixture in Group B. The second half about to get underway. Plenty of fans still enjoying their half-time libations here at this beautiful stadium. But the referee is almost ready to get us underway for the second half. I'll run you through the teams in a moment. Doesn't it appear if any changes have been made from either side as we are back underway for the start of the second half, with Canada, the host, going from left to right, and Bosnia attacking early down the right hand side. Go for a long range effort, but it's straight in towards Kripau. But it was a tester over on the far side. Demirovic just finding himself a little bit of space 10 seconds into this second half, and just on the angle, couldn't quite find anything to really test Kripau too much. So both teams unchanged from the first half. Kripau in goal for Canada. Johnson in the right back role, who is on a booking from the first half in the defence alongside De Fougarol, Cornelius and Laia. The midfield four of Buchanan, Eustachio, the captain, Kone and Miller, with David, who had the best opportunity for Canada in the first half, is partnered up front by Oluwase. For Bosnia, unchanged as well. Vasily in goal, Dedic in the right back, Kolasinac on the left hand side, with Muhermovic and Katic the two centre halves. The midfield four of Bajrektarovic on the right and Memic on the left, Samajin, Tahirovic and Basic in the midfield, and Demirovic and Lukic both on bookings from the first half. Remain the two up front for Bosnia, who still lead from that Lukic goal. It was a wonderful corner that was taken and played in by Basic, flicked on by Kolasinac on the near post, and Lukic couldn't quite miss from a yard out. But here come Canada once again, continuing where they left off inside that first half. Down the right hand side, lovely ball in towards Oluwase. Tries to get a nice cross back in by Buchanan, but it's met ever so well at the near post, and Bosnia just about clear the lines, but still under pressure down the right hand side. Kolasinac will come across, and again just about does enough to put it out for a throw in. 2 minutes into the second half, it's Canada who are starting with plenty of high tempo, particularly down that right hand side. But the long throw coming in from Miller's cleared out ever so well by Bosnia, only as far as Laia. Has to turn back towards the halfway line, and I think the Canadians are a little bit more used to the American sports and how slow it can take on that half-time break. Plenty on the other side, still trying to make their way out. The Bosnians very much more used to how football takes place. Will take nothing away from the wonderful Canadians who have tried to pack this stadium out. We won't say too much about the prices of the tickets that the organisers were trying to put on for many, many fans. They have shot down. There was a Cape Verde game which was $340 at one point. Is going down the right hand side, lovely ball over the top, looking for Oluwase just down that right hand side. The keeper's come out and he's taken the player out with the ball as well, and questions being asked from Canada about whether that could be a red card, but it could be a penalty as well for the home side. The Bosnians coming out to just protest the referee, who hasn't quite made a decision just yet in terms of his decision. It was a 50-50 between Oluwase and Vasily racing out of his goal. The Villarreal front man looks like he got there just ahead of the goalkeeper, who's going to need a little bit of physio treatment. And whilst the rules have changed, the goalkeeper does need physio treatment. He gets to stay on the pitch. That lovely ball that came down that right hand side. Oluwase really stretching his legs, getting there ahead of Nikolai Vasily. The goalkeeper has won the ball there ahead of the Canadian front man. He has taken out Oluwase with him at the same time. moments before, had a lovely run down that right-hand side, just turning on a dime and putting his cross back in towards the box, but dealt with again by the goalkeeper, who's now back to his feet and gets on with the game. So 5 minutes then gone into the second half. Still Bosnia leading by a goal to nil, but Canada continue to try and press. Harry Ann attack this Bosnian back line. It's with Miller. Crowded round by 2, but then finds a little bit of space. An excellent run down that left-hand side. Trying to stride and pass it in towards Oluwase, but the pass couldn't match the initial touch and run into the space, driving into the Bosnian half. They're into the ascendancy in this game, Canada. And Miller is one of those main outlets over on that far side of the pitch. He just took a wonderful touch, crowded out by 3 Bosnian midfielders, just pushed it to his left, and then just played it in between all 3 of them, opening up the space, creating an opportunity for an attack for those in red. But then the pass didn't quite match the run. But here he comes again down the left-hand side. This time, excellent defending from Dedic, just getting himself in between the man and ball. But under plenty of pressure from Miller, who's just trying to stick his leg between the legs of Dedic. If he gets any closer, they might be wearing the same shirt in a moment or so. But Dedic doing just enough to clear it out for a throw-in over on the far side. Level with the edge of the Bosnia and Herzegovina penalty area. Taken short this time, though, by Kone. Flick down in towards David on the left-hand side. Opportunity for Miller to try and put a cross in towards the box. Decides against it with no real space opening up. Comes back in towards Eustachio. Again on the left. Cornelius with a better ball in, trying to get it in between the goalkeeper and his defence. But excellent goalkeeping to just come out and pluck that out of the sky. He's alert off his line there. Is Vasily. The collision moments ago having no real impact on him inside the goal, and he's certainly going to have to be on his game, the St. Pauli goalkeeper. Bosnia last in this competition back in 2014. They beat Iran 3-1 in their final game after losing to Argentina and Nigeria in Brazil. Whereas Barbarez looks on, he looks a little bit stressed on this near side. He certainly waited for many years for this job. He took up the roles, a professional poker player, retired as well. It took him a bit of time to get going. He didn't win any of their opening 7 games under Barbarez after he did take over. But they could see he was trying to do something. He stuck with him. Maybe not all of the fans, but some of them. And as Canada win a free kick just inside the Bosnian half, 5 yards off the touchline, the far side of the pitch, and the referee will just bring it back as Nosy Red tried to get on with it a little bit too quick. But he gave 16 debuts in his first year. Barbarez, he had to try and settle them down. It's Canada again over on the far side with Miller. Pulls it back towards the left corner of the penalty area. Little flick through, round the corner, opportunity, and it's cleared off the line. And what a defensive clearance that is from Kolasinac. For the love of money, you would have put your house on that, seeing the net ripple there for Canada. Instead, a yellow card comes out for De Fugaro for stopping the counter-attack. But Kolasinac gives a little fist pump to the rest of his team. What a move. Eustachio down the left-hand side, just feeding it in towards Jonathan David. And you would have bet your life savings on that hitting the back of the net. He just played it past the keeper Vasily, but coming across was the captain Kolasinac to just get across that back line, and he just clears it off the line onto the underside of the bar, and then hacked away by Bosnian defence. But that was a real opportunity for Canada. Beautiful play, an excellent through ball. By Eustachio. And it was a wonderful first touch by David just to pull it on to his right-hand side. Opened up the angle. Beat the keeper, but couldn't beat Kolasinac on the line. As Bosnia almost find themselves in behind the back line once again. An excellent defending. One, the keeper comes out, grip out. Wonderful ball over the top, just finding Demirovic in the middle of the pitch. And he just tried to drag it to the right-hand side of the Canadian keeper. But good work from Kapau to get himself across and to deny Bosnia a 2-goal advantage. The corner comes in from this near side from Basic once again. This time it is cleared out and away Canada come on the counter-attack, but the pass again looking this time for Oluwayesi. Can't quite find him as he puts a bit of pressure on Vasily, who can't quite clear his lines either, and Canada will come again. 10 minutes into the second half. Miller this time down the right-hand side, has the overlap, decides to go it alone, and across. Leaves everything to be desired as it goes straight out of play for a goal kick, and Bosnia will be happier the more that they see the time whittle down and the ball out of play, as Jesse Marsh has conversations with his backroom staff. Will they be the first to blink on the near touchline? Canada continue to press. Moments ago, off the line, Michael Asinac as they come again down the right-hand side by Oluwayesi, and his cross again too close to the goalkeeper, just commanding his box, showing some real confidence, Vasily, as he clears the ball out of his hand, sends it deep into Canada territory. All that Defugarol could really do was get underneath that. It certainly knocked a few brain cells out from the height that ball came out of the sky. As Bosnia have a throw in halfway inside the Canada half on this near side. As Kolasinac comes across to try and take the throw in, but he's wasted far too much time. The referee had the countdown, and for the first time in this tournament we've seen it go the other way, and Canada win the throw in. Bosnia trying to slow the game down. Kolasinac, plenty of experience under his name, plays for Atalanta now. The Tank, the former nightclub bouncer, was the hero when he played in England during that Ozil robbery that was taking place. One of only 2 Bosnians that played in 2014 alongside Edin Dzeko. On the bench this evening, here's Dzeko. Bajrak Terovic, the PSV wide man, who's having an excellent game for Bosnia. Winter free kick as well, just inside the Canadian half away to the left-hand side. Was born and raised in Wisconsin, but he does have videos of him as a child with a Dzeko shirt on, and how he came full circle for him to be assisted by Dzeko on his debut and scored decisively against Italy in the shootout as well. Here the Bosnian number 20, Ishmir Bajrak Terovic, as the free kick comes in. It's just going to get punched away by the goalkeeper. Kripau well outside of his 6-yard box, then towards the left-hand side of his penalty area, and all he could do was make a connection with it. And it's going to be the 3rd corner of the evening for Bosnia. The first yielded a goal, the second was dealt with comfortably by Canada. But it's going to be Basic who comes across to take it from the far side with that in-swinger. Plays it again, this time towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and the header did come in, and it was won by Mumhemovic, who rose highest but couldn't quite keep the header down. He looks to the skies in frustration, does the Bosnian centre-half. He was so good for Sassuolo that Juventus scouts signed him while watching somebody else a few years ago. And we do see it with these competitions. You find a player has a wonderful tournament and get picked up around about 50-60 million pounds, euros, dollars. As Jesse Marsh will be the first to blink from the head coaches on the near side. He's got 3 subs lined up and ready to come on as Bosnia are just getting themselves a little bit more into this game. Still leading by a goal to nil on the road are Bosnia here in Toronto. But it's Canada coming again with the ball. Eustachio pushing in across towards the left-hand side. 2 Bosnian players just trying to get hold of the ball, but it's played back in towards Kone, who's got a bit more space in front of him, and that's quickly crowded out and run down with Taravic coming across. Then Lukic trying to put a bit of pressure on, but Canada's still on the ball. Lose out though to Tahirovic on the edge of the penalty area. Pushed out towards Bajraj Taravic, who can't quite keep the ball in play. And it goes out for a throw-in over on the far side to the hosts, who now will look to make the changes that they have, as they've just shown on the big screen. Vasily and Oluwase had a coming together. And Oluwase was offside by half a body length, and changes still not made as Fougarol not having the greatest second half, can't quite get his head onto the balls. The changes now will come as Miller, who's had an excellent had an excellent 60 minutes of this game, will be the first to depart, and Jacob Schaffelberg will make his way on, plays for LAFC. The Tennessee waterslide mullet that he's got, relentless runner. Big stage performer from Canada's 2024 Copa America run, makes his way on. David will make his way off to be replaced by Promise David. Union Sanjul Waman. Buchanan also makes his way off for Ahmed as well. So 3 changes made. Ali Ahmed, the Norwich City wide man, he failed trials at Enfield, Cheshunt and Tooting and Mitcham. There's Basic and Lukic both make their way off as well for Bosnia, who quickly retaliate to the changes. Bazdar, he was one of those to make his way on for Lukic. Up front, and I'll bring you that final change in a moment, with the amount of changes that have just been made and with players having to rush off at some speed. It's not always evident about who's just rushed onto the pitch, but for Canada, we have those changes in the bag. Scheffelberg coming on for what was a very lively Liam Miller. Over on the far side of the pitch, and Gigovic was the other man to come on for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And number 8, the midfielder, plays with young boys in Switzerland, the team that is, the former Sweden under-21 captain. He scored the away winner in Romania that changed Bosnia's qualifying record as the ball goes in towards the Bosnian box, and a free kick goes against Promise David, who just came in a little bit too late. Bazdar, the other man that has come on, plays for Jagiellona Bialystok. Won't try and say that one again. He once was called the new Vlahovic, Serbia youth and senior cap before one of the region's biggest switches to Bosnia. It's not a region where you want to switch too many times before facing the wrath of another country, but he has certainly made the right choice for this competition, to make it at least, and to get himself into a bit of Bosnian history. Still leading by a goal to nil. Played down the right hand side by Canada, continue to attack with Ali Ahmed. Can't quite find the pass though. He, after failing those trials, he returned to England as a championship player, the second division of the English competition. Did Ali Ahmed, where he now plays for Norwich, who a bit of an indifferent season, a very difficult start. And then slowly found their way through as it's played in towards the box for Canada. Shot that comes in, but it can't quite find the connection well enough from the substitute, Promise David. He's no relation to Jonathan David. He's a fan favourite who's helped Union Saint-Gilloise to their first league title in 90 years. But he just couldn't quite make the connection inside the box there. 25 minutes to go then in this game. It's Canada continuing to try and find an equaliser. Under plenty of pressure though. And they do lose out on the ball. John Buchanan The unpredictable winger, old school tricks. He came through the NCAA route to New England, then Bruges, Inter, and then with Villarreal made his way off for Ali Ahmed, who's sounding a little bit lively since he's come off the bench in this second half. Over on the far side again with David. Back to Eustachio, who tries to go for goal and driving at it, can't quite whip the ball round. He's asking the referee Tello for a potential corner kick or even a foul there, but the referee unmoved and unswayed by his protestations. But it was a good run again down the left-hand side. But as the time goes on, Canada are being limited to shots from distance. Their best opportunity coming from Jonathan David, both in the first half, in the centre of the penalty area, right on the edge, and then the second opportunity where he should really, we thought he was going to find the back of the net. The only man that didn't think that was Kolasinac, who came across to deny him. There's a long-ranging ball. Lux down the left-hand side towards Schaffelberg. An excellent first touch. Tries to then send it with a second back in towards the box and cleared off the line once again. This time was a little bit tamer, but it was Oluwase who rose highest at the far side of the 6-yard box. He didn't have too much power on, but it beat the keeper, and it required Dedic to get back on the line and just get his head onto the ball. But another good opportunity for Canada, who win the free kick as Bajda takes out De Fugaro, and an opportunity for Canada to put some pressure on this Bosnian defence. Down the right-hand side again, looking for the pass, this time in towards Ahmed. Cuttings it back across the edge of the 6-yard box, but over the top of everyone's head and out for a throw-in over on the far side. And Bosnia sense a moment of reprieve as Ali Ahmed causing trouble down that right-hand side, but Oluwase rising highest at the far post. And apologies, it was Katic, the man that got himself back on the line to deny Oluwase his third goal in Canadian colours. And the space just opens up down the right hand side for Bosnia to try and counter-attack here. There's two racing inside the area. Loria trying to get back and do the defensive work, does just enough, and excellent defending in the end. And the Toronto FC man on home soil knows this ground like the back of his hand with a beautiful defensive work. He's protesting to the linesman, asking for the flag to come up over on the far side. But the Canadian fans in the ground applauding that one like a goal in itself, as Bosnia just found themselves over on the far side with plenty of space. It was Bajrak Terevic who has had a good battle with Laia, and on that occasion couldn't quite get the better of him, as Canada win a free kick in a good position again, as Kolasinac on this occasion just comes in and stands on the boot of Oluwase once again, who's had an interesting game. He's a couple of opportunities himself inside that first half to try and test the Bosnian keeper. Had a really good opportunity in the second half and gives Canada an opportunity here as the ball's floated in towards the far side of the box. It comes off a Bosnian last. Kolasinac races across down his own byline to get hold of the ball. Under pressure from Difugorol, who wanted a corner kick after taking out Kolasinac, but in fact he's given away the free kick to the Bosnian centre half, and we'll go to the second hydration break. Remember that you can and should watch this game on the TV from your local network provider. We are here providing you commentary from an independent studio based off Tube commentary for this Group B fixture here in Toronto. Bosnia, who, because of all the ongoings of the early 90s, which we won't dive too much into, they bring us a strong diaspora angle into North America. Plenty of fans making the journey. 100,000 were on the streets of Sarajevo after they won against Italy on penalties. But the form for both of these two sides coming in. Bosnia with a great qualifying record as well. 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat, including the playoffs. 19 scored, just 10 conceded. They had excellent away form, going unbeaten against Romania, winning 1-0, San Marino 6-0, drawing 2-2 with Cyprus, and then 1-1 draws with Austria and Wales before that shootout win. That was the real moment that they sensed an opportunity, Bosnia, when they beat Wales away from home to then get the home fixture against Italy. They were always strong in Zenica, but not perfect. With that defining moment on the home night, with that 1-1 playoff final before another penalty shootout win. Canada, they're staring down the barrel with 20 minutes to go in this game, as we still have the hydration break on this near side. Just 1 defeat in their previous 17 since March 2025, when they lost in the Nations League semi-final to Mexico. That includes games against the USA, Colombia, Ecuador and Ukraine as well. It's not been the easiest of them. They found their identity under Jesse Marsch. They couldn't quite add to the excellent number of clean sheets they've had, 10 now in 16, which has been one of their key strengths within this side. But they are also staring down the barrel of being just the second host nation to lose their opening match. The worst defeat from a home nation certainly won't be today. Can't quite see Bosnia and Herzegovina scoring 7 past Canada. That's what Germany did, if you'll remember, in the 2014 semi-final against Brazil, scoring 4 goals in, you'll have to correct me if I am wrong, in 5 minutes in the first half, to really ruin the host day. I was at that competition, only watching as a fan of England, to which saw them pick up a solitary point, but had a great time nonetheless. Brazil was an incredible place to visit. Only 6 nations have won the tournament on home soil. Uruguay in 1930, Italy in 1934, England in 1966, West Germany in 74, Argentina in 78, and the last one's France in 1998. But that tends to be because of where the competitions have been hosted since then, with a little bit more exploration across the world and to wonderful places like Japan and Korea. Brazil was probably the best opportunity, South Africa, Qatar, Russia, and now the 3 countries in North America. Mexico in their 3rd hosting duties, Canada in their 1st, America is in their 2nd as well. As a free kick goes Bosnia's ways, we're back underway, 17 minutes to go in this game. Bazar taken out on the ball by, we'll say, who's having a protest with the, by Kone, who's trying to protest to the referee, but has to be taken away by Oluwase. As Alphonso Davies just sits on the side, just watching on, how he would love to be involved in this contest. There's a couple more changes going to be made now by Bosnia to just try and shore up this result. Coming on will be Ivan Šunjić. Barek Terovic will be one of those who is going to make his way off, and the other will be Memic on the other side. So both wide men coming off, and Šunjić, the Paphos man, plays his domestic football in Greece, former Dynamo Zagreb captain, and also a Croatia international, switched to Bosnia in 2024 in what was a symbolic renewal moment for this national side. And the other man to come on is Bayer Leverkusen's Kerim Alaibegovic, the face of the future. an Austrian Bundesliga newcomer. He was fearless as a playoff penalty taker, already a face of the team as well going forward, as Bosnia try and get hold of the ball inside the centre circle. Just going to put the foot through it in hope more than expectation. Met this time better by the Fugaro. Moved across towards the left-hand side in towards Schaffelberg, who just runs out of space and into a little bit of trouble. And Bosnia, with 15 minutes to go, are sensing an opportunity to try and kill this game dead. Back towards Katic. Moves it across in towards Kolasinac on this left-hand side. Links up with a little 1-2 on the near side in towards Demirovic. Šunjić with his first touch of the ball, moves it back in towards the centre just to try and slow this game down. Time wasting certainly going to be something that all sides will find difficult in this competition this year, which is great to see. So the sides have to keep hold of the ball themselves if they want to try and wind that clock down a little bit. But inviting pressure is Kolasinac on this near side, but just about gets there ahead of the on-rushing Ali Ahmed and wins a throw-in on this near side. You have to be careful, Kolasinac, because he has really had one overturned as Kyle Larin gets himself ready on the near side. Oluwayesi makes his way off, and on comes the fourth substitute for Canada, the Mallorcan frontman, a Canada cult hero after 13 goals in 16 games during the 2022 qualifying cycle that ended that 36-year wait for Canada to make this major competition. He hasn't been quite as prolific since. Oluwayesi got the nod ahead of him before the start of this game to partner with Jonathan David. Well, both those front men now being taken off, but Canada trying to find their way behind the back line, looking in towards Larin. They couldn't quite find the pass through. And the keeper comes out to claim that one. Memic made his way off moments ago for Alija Begovic, and Memic, who's a hard-working player, second tier in Slovenia, Czech football. Currently plays at Victoria Pilsen in European competition. Well, he's made his way through all of that in the space of 4 years to get himself at this point. Šunjić, the man, comes on the opposite side for Bajraj Terovic. Is Canada with the ball again, just holding on to it, trying to find a way back into this game. They've had the possession, they've had the momentum by a brief spell in either halves from Bosnia. And coming again over on the far side is Kone. Flicks around the corner in towards David and knocked down, and he's found the back of the net on this occasion. And it's the substitute Larin who makes an instant impact for Canada. And cue Canadian chaos in the stands. Toronto trembles. Canada are level, and they cannot say it hasn't been coming. They're searching for their first ever point in a major world competition. And Larin, the substitute, makes an instant impact. The two subs up front combining on the edge of the box. It was taken beautifully by Promise David, knocked down in towards Larin, who on the half volley just sends it into the far corner of Vasily's goal, and Canada restore parity. It's taken them 60 minutes to do so, as it was flicked around the corner beautifully by Promise David into the heart of the Bosnian penalty area. It was a mazy run from It was a mazy run on the left-hand side initially by Schaffelberg, who found the pass in towards the middle. David flicked it through, and there was Kyle Larin to add himself into more cult hero status for this Canadian national team. And now the fans are making plenty of noise. There was a brief check for offside, which certainly won't come. Jesse Marsh shouting instructions. Can Canada go and find a winner? His 31st goal for the national team and his 91st appearance. He signed for Southampton on loan, from Mallorca. Signed for them permanently before the World Cup. And with that bit of buoyancy that he has got from signing for a club, he also played a spell with Feyenoord last year where he struggled to get a few goals, but moving to the second division of English football certainly has paid off. And that was a real quality finish. But here come Canada once again with a pop shot from the edge of the area. Looked like it took a deflection on the way through, but the referee gives a goal kick instead, and it was Promise Davis, the man who was just charging towards the edge of the area, just about got his foot onto it. It took a little deflection on the way through. It was Kolasinac, the man who kept Larin onside, denied the Canadians a goal 20 minutes ago, but has given them a goal on this occasion by keeping Larin onside. And I think it may have taken a deflection on the way through on second viewing from Katic. It looked like he hit it sweetly, did the man born in Ontario. He's a tall stature and presence inside the box for Canada. But what a finish that was. The Laranissimo line. And he's named Valladolid. And he's previously been there during his loan spell from Club Brugge. Well, Canada level. 8 minutes to go in this game. Can either side find a winner? We've yet to have a draw in the opening. I was going to say in the opening 2 games of the competition, but that isn't something that will last too long. As a long ranging ball goes from right to left. Johnson gets his head down and is pushed into a bit of space deep inside his own half. Clears it forward towards Larin with a nice cushion header down. Gets a little reverse pass down the right hand side. Kolasinac can't keep with it, but out comes the goalkeeper. Vasiliy Kolasinac is feeling the pressure on his hamstrings there. He's gone down and signalled to the bench from the edge of the penalty area. They've made 4 changes already. Have Bosnia and Herzegovina, but it looks like they may need to make a 5th. As Kolasinac stays down on the pitch, he may just be trying to catch a bit of breath, as well as Canada sensing a real opportunity to try and turn this game completely on its head. We saw it yesterday with South Korea coming from behind to beat Czechia. The opening game was a resounding, confident win from the other host, Mexico. But as it stands now, as Kolasinac hands the armband off, as he makes his way off, just holding his calves, not his hamstrings, apologies, holding both of them as well. He's had a pretty good game as Kolasinac. He kept Bosnia in the lead until the 80th minute by clearing one off the line. But couldn't do anything about Larin restoring Canada to level pegging in this game. The co-hosts refused to fade. They continue to press, they continue to attack as the comeback continues to just crackle in the fire of the Dragons as Bornic, apologies, makes his way on for Sead Kolasinac. The defender Bornic plays for Karlsruhe through the Dortmund Academy. Made his debut in the Champions League at 18. Was a German youth player. Again, switched to Bosnia as They come down the right-hand side, breaking towards the area. They're going to win a corner kick again. And the pressure continues to mount. This time is Bosnia threatening the Canadian backline. It was Bazdar, the man, who just found himself in a little bit of space, driving towards the byline, turned inside the box. Laie stayed with him. He's got his foot ahead of his man. Appealed for a free kick, did the left-back, who's had a terrific game for Canada. But the corner kick's been given, and it's whipped in from the far side towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Played back towards the edge of the area, and then the half volley completely missed by the Bosnian man. And it was the substitute Bornic who has just come on. His first touch was to completely swing and miss the ball from the edge of the box as Canada clear the lines towards the halfway line. Latching onto it is Schaffelberger. Runs into a bit of trouble though, and it's just played out for a throw-in over on the far side. 4.5 minutes to go in this contest. Both sides with 2 games coming up. One on the 18th, one on the 24th. Canada will go up against Qatar in their next fixture, which will be played over in Vancouver. Bosnia themselves will go against Switzerland before they'll have a switch. Both sides, Qatar and Switzerland, they meet tomorrow. What will be the afternoon kickoff, the first kickoff of the day tomorrow. USA and Paraguay coming up 4 hours after this game ends, the final of the 3 hosts. That game takes place in California. But pushing down the left-hand side is Canada once again, and just playing it out of danger is Katic, who locks a little short of breath to centre-half. He's been under plenty of pressure throughout this contest. Canada continue to add that. They've had 60% of the possession, 12 shots to 8, 9 corners to 4. And the long throw comes from the far side towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed out ever so well, that is, by Bosnia, and trying to latch onto it is Eustat. KO moves it across towards the left-hand side again. Bosnia clear the lines once more as it's hacked away by Katic towards the far side, and now they can try and counter with Demirovic. Got one man coming in from the left-hand side, can't quite find the space. Laie once again putting up a superb display over on that far side. Whenever he's found himself in a bit of trouble, one-on-one with a Bosnian attacking player, he's always come out better on the far side of the pitch. There was a man racing in, it looked to be, but Bazdar coming into the box unannounced. And with no Canadian players sticking with him, but Laie, he stuck to Demirovic over on the far side of the pitch and got back the ball for those in red. And now they've got a free kick of their own inside Bosnian territory with 2.5 minutes to go. Can Canada find a late winner on home soil? Anticipation, nerves, stress, however you want to call it, is running through these players and the fans in the stands. The Bosnians, who were packed up in the rafters away to the left-hand side and have some numbers away behind the goal. Canada are attacking. Kone moves it down the right-hand side in towards Promise David. Can't quite find the return pass, though, from Eustakio. Cleared out towards Kone once more, who goes down under the pressure from Demirovic, who's also been booked early on in this game inside the first half. And the referee, though, happy that there is nothing else to that. Barbares makes his way out of his seat on this near side. Can't quite keep himself still. 90 seconds plus time added on, of which there likely will be about 4 or 5 minutes, maybe a couple more because of the subs that have been made as well. Kone on the ball. Everyone back for Bosnia. Play towards the edge of the area, but Bosnia doing ever so well to win it back and pushed again towards Alajbegovic on this near side. Play back in towards the middle with Sunic trying to switch it across towards the far side, but just plays it straight in towards a man in red, and going down again under pressure is Ali Ahmed on this near side on the halfway line. We're coming up now into the 90th minute. Time is running out for both of these two sides. Bosnia will take a point from the amount of pressure that they have been under from Canada. Canada, I think, will be happy that they haven't lost this game. But with the possession and opportunities they have had, they will certainly feel that they should come away with 3 points. But everyone is forward for them here. Bosnia, with everybody on the edge of the penalty area, trying to keep that line as flat as possible. Standing over it is the set-piece maestro, Eustakeo, but he just plays it straight into the goalkeeper, Vasily. It's meat and drink for a keeper of his quality. The pressure that really should have gone onto the goalkeeper from the set-piece hadn't been applied, as we're up to the 90th minute. 6 minutes added on for one of these two sides to try and find the breakthrough and find the winning goal here in the opening round of their competition. Bosnia with the ball, forced back in towards the centre circle, pushed nicely across by Šunić towards this left-hand side in towards Alaj Begovic. Running around his man though is Badzarni, runs into a little bit of pressure and into Dave Fugaro, who has found his feet in this game as time has gone on, and wins the throw-in for those in red. As Johnson comes across to take it on this near side, and the referee surely has to start counting this down, but he's not going to, as Canada will make a quick sub. It's Eustakeo, who has been on set-piece duty and caused me plenty of tongue twisters throughout this game, is replaced by Osorio. For Canada. As he comes on to try and add a little bit of experience late on in this game. Also plays his regular football here. He's a one-club Toronto FC face. He's won the Supporters' Shield. He's got the Canada know-how. He's been praised by Marsh in the build-up to this competition for his rhythm and his mentality. As a tackle goes in late on Muhermovic, and he'll get the free kick for Bosnia, who will just try and slow this game down a little bit more. Inside the final 4 minutes of the 6 that have been added on. Bosnia know a point can make a huge difference, with both of these sides expected to beat the likes of Qatar. Switzerland will put up a great fight. They always seem to come out and play some wonderful football, Switzerland, during these competitions. They always seem to score an absolute worldie as well. It tends to be Shaqiri, but 5 yards inside the Canada half. Just pushed across this near left-hand side is Gigovic, who's going to take the free kick. Plays it into the centre circle to open up the space towards Dedic. Whips it across towards the right-hand side. Is then flicked back in towards the area. Muhermovic gets the header down, but can't quite find a man, and Larin is there to win the ball, and the big man with plenty of strength behind him just breaks forward, and Bosnia just have to take him out to stop the counter-attack. And it was a good effort. Katic is the man that's gone into the referee's book, and a professional foul more than anything from the centre half. Larin, he's certainly no mug, but Karin, I think, has been watching a few different sports with how he did just take Larin off the ball, grabbed his shirt and gave him a good throw across the pitch. 2.5 minutes to go in this opening Group B fixture. Canada avoiding the dreaded loss on home soil. Only Qatar have done that so far from all the hosts of this major competition. Vasily sends his goal kick into the heart of Canadian territory. Knocked down a little bit of ping pong in the middle of the park, and it's picked up loosely in the middle. Bosnia can't quite find the men. They've got too many men behind the ball, but then it's just given away dangerously over on the far side by Cornelius. Can't quite find the return though down the right hand side as Laia just does what Laia does in this game and just wins the ball back. If you're going to lose it on one side of the pitch in this contest, it is certainly over on that far side where Laia will win it back. But coming forward again, here is Canada trying to find a potential late winner. Wonderful switch towards the right hand side, looking for David, who can't quite find the pass back across, and it was Ali Ahmed, on the ball on this near side, but too close towards the keeper, just inviting him to come off his goal line and deny Canada an opportunity. 90 seconds to go for one of these two sides to make a little bit of history. Canada have never picked up a point in this competition. Bosnia with just the one win to their name, but it's Canada still attacking with Dufugarol into Cornelius inside the centre circle. Everyone behind the ball with 60 seconds to go now for Bosnia. Laia pushed it towards the far touchline, halfway inside the Bosnian half. No movement coming from either side late on. Bosnia happy and content with how this is going to get played out here. It's moved down the left-hand side. Overlap comes in. Laia in towards the box. Brings it back onto his right. Pulled back in towards Larin. Can't quite find the space, and Bosnia clear it. And that was a golden opportunity. He just couldn't quite get it out of his feet. It's cleared towards the halfway line. Crepau, with the chest down into Cornelius. Is there another opportunity for Canada? Dufugarol can't quite find his feet and moves it back in towards the centre circle. He's got to go forward now. Do they have one final opportunity? Ali Ahmed on the right-hand side, level at the edge of the penalty area. He goes down under a challenge. Didn't find the return pass from Johnson, and I think he was trying to be a little bit clever and convince the Argentinian referee Facundatello, who's had an excellent game in the middle of the pitch. But a decisive block that came in on Larin late on has been the difference maker here. The referee blows his full-time whistle. It's finished Canada 1, Bosnia 1. Bosnia will be delighted with how that game has gone. They've taken a point for Canada. Well, they'll be frustrated they didn't take all three from the amount of possession and control they had. But what an exciting game that has been to open the account here in Group B. Both sides had opportunities early on, with Jonathan David having the best for the home side from the edge of the area, but playing it straight at Vasily in the goal. Then against the run of play, Basic's corner was flicked on by Kolasinac in towards Lukic, who couldn't miss from a yard out to give Bosnia a 1-0 lead, completely against the tide. Canada had the possession but couldn't find anything to really test Vasily in goal in that first half. The second half started with Bosnia attacking inside the opening 20 seconds and forcing Crepau into a save on the edge of his 6-yard box. The ball then found its way in towards Eustáquio, who pulled it back in towards David on the edge of the 6-yard box. It looked for love nor money like he was going to level it up for Canada, but across came Kolasinac, the assist in the first half, and the clearance off the line, playing it onto the underside of his crossbar to keep Bosnia ahead. Then it was cleared off the line for a second time, this time from Katic. Amazing run by Schaffelberg down the left-hand side, drove to the byline and just put a floater across towards the far side of the 6-yard box. Oluwase got the header on, beat the keeper again on the goal line, but Katic was there to meet him, but they couldn't keep the host out until the very end. Kyle Larin came on for Oluwase and almost with his first touch of the ball found himself through by the substitute, Promise David, who just flicked it round the corner. An excellent touch on his right knee, just turned and opened the space, and his second touch took a little deflection on the way through from Katic into the bottom left-hand corner of Nikolai Vasily's goal. Both sides continued to try and threaten and attack, and Larin had one blocked by Mihajlovic in the dying seconds of the game. But it's an exciting contest. Both sides will be pleased that they haven't lost this one. Canada probably should have taken all 3 points, but here in Toronto, it's finished Canada 1, Bosnia 1.